Just watched Michael Audiophile 45 RPM last couple of videos. It's quite interesting to see Tears for Fears and Soft Cell putting out new albums. To show how old I am, when I had to move down to Canberra, the capital of Australia, in the early 80s, there was this sort of cool little bar, not disco, but some sort of where they'd have strobe lights, and at the time it was quite amazing because they had big screen TVs and they used to show lots of clips, like MTV type clips in there, and I quite liked some of the music at the time, even though people of my age, I would have been in my early to mid 30s, getting closer to my mid 30s, and I always felt a bit guilty going in there because the kids that were in there were probably, early 20s or late teens, I don't know. So I was obviously almost twice their age, and I used to think, hope I don't creep anyone out. I'd go in there with my new Musical Express or whatever and sit down and enjoy a few, instead of my usual guzzling gallons of beer and picking fights with the skinheads. I thought I'll be a posh sort of a guy for a while. So I'd just sit there and sip cocktails and that. And I didn't freak anyone out. They got used to me popping in there once a week. It was a really cool little bar. And I had a huge soft spot for Soft Cell. And yeah, they were great, really, and the Pet Shop Boys, I sort of thought this is a bit camp. But, they both those bands or duos put out some pretty good stuff at the time. I can't believe it's 40 years ago, and I was in my mid-30s, But anyway, what got me onto that subject? Yeah, I just decided that it's time for a tour for Milli Vanilli. Does anyone remember them? They were more popular than Hazy Fantasy. How about Bow Wow Wow? Malcolm McLaren's masterstroke after the Sex Pistols. I'm ashamed to say I actually had a Bow Wow Wow 45. It wasn't too bad, actually. Back in the early 80s, I think that was. Yeah. So I figured the nostalgia circuit. And because Milli Vanilli were outed for not even singing on their hit records, no one seemed to care. They just got up and lip synced to songs that someone else had sung, probably really ugly people with thick Coke bottle glasses and terrible acne scars, and those guys that have bald but they grow their hair long. They are the ones that actually sang on it, whoever they were. And so I decided, let's just get the suckers in, so I've decided I want to try and reform Milli Vanilli, or get the rights to the name somehow, or even just rip it off and just change one letter and call it, so, whatever. It's like a band that used to have some respect years ago, back in the early 60s, called the Searchers. And they've been touring Australia every year for the last 60 years. And there has been no original members in the Searchers for about 45 years. So every time these fuckers come out here, and idiots actually pay money to go and see this, the Searchers, their 60th tour of Australia. And the ones that replaced the original members were replaced. There is no connection at all to the original Searchers, who at the time we thought were a great band. I've got a shitload of their singles here on the Australian Astor label. They're on Pie in England, I think. But they were really highly respected, and they got a lot of radio play. They were actually the Beatles' favourite band at one stage in the early 60s. But time has not been kind to their music. It's like now, what I thought was pretty damn... And, you know, a bit the Hollies too. The Hollies and the Searchers were hugely popular. People tend to forget that. You know, in Australia and the UK, I know for a fact that both those bands were massively popular. You know, rivaling the Beatles. You know, not so much for songs, but just for vocals. You know, for yeah. So I'm going to honorary form Vili Manili. I think one of them died about 30 years ago or 20 years ago. Doesn't matter because he didn't sing on the records anyway. So I just think we should just get a couple of lookalikes and just have 2022 Vili Manili tour. Get your tickets, $80 for the bad seats and $250 for front row. T-shirts, the lot. So, you know, it's a thought. You know, gee. Anyway, it's my 2 bobs worth for today. Pathetic, isn't it? This is the best I can come up with today. Rachel's back. I saw Rachel's ghost on YouTube today, and I was scared because it can't be real. It just can't be real. It's Rachel's ghost. Yes. Anyway, bye.